Welcome everybody to the Retire Well podcast. We are your hosts, Alicia Kay, Julie Lampe, and Patricia Kaloka-Massat. We're offering a fresh and comprehensive perspective, helping you see retirement through a new lens. We are three female entrepreneurs from Central Florida who are passionate about serving the pre-retirement, post-career adult. We're really excited today to talk about who should be listening to this podcast, who needs to hear what we have to say, and who do we hope to reach. So I'm going to let my co-host take it away.
We're without words. That's a first. Okay, well, I'll go first. I definitely think the group that it's really important for is people who are planning their retirement. So if you are within 5 years of retiring, this podcast is going to be really good for you. And the reason why is because there are a lot of things we're going to talk about that are aspects of retirement planning that may be things that that aren't on your radar, that are things that people don't think about or even know about until after they have retired. And I know that from my own personal business experience that, a lot of people do remodels before they retire without realizing the things that need to be addressed in that retirement, in that pre-retirement remodel that will help you stay in your home for as long as possible and make it as comfortable and functional for you as possible. But that's just one aspect to the pre-retirement community or the pre-retirement age group. Patty?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Patty. I think we were both going to talk about the same thing. So You go.
Yeah. So what I could actually share something that, it pretty much happened to me yesterday. I had a call, from a 45-year-old son who's been juggling from California to Florida to Michigan with another sibling trying to help, the dad. The dad passed away about 2 weeks ago, and then they were just trying to figure everything out on their own. So until they met us and a few other professionals. So I think a great, listener to this would be somebody like our age, someone that's helping a parent, So we have not only the retiree in mind, but also those people around, the loved ones, the caretakers that are helping, the parents navigate through all these moving parts.
Absolutely. And I feel like Patty and I both have experience with this, losing a parent earlier than we expected to. And there are so many aspects about preparing for the uneventualities of aging that we hope to never face, but it's a difficult and real conversation that needs to happen. And we were sitting here trying to make this list of who needs to be listening to this. And I think we kind of came up with this number of if you're 35 or older, you probably need to be listening to this because you're either the adult child of someone who's approaching retirement and you need to have these tough conversations. And we kind of know baby boomers don't love to talk about this. It's not their favorite thing to talk about. And
yes,
it can be pulling teeth, no pun intended, trying to have these difficult, uncomfortable conversations about the things that it's really important to protect that person as they approach retirement and are getting into retirement, protecting their assets, protecting their livelihood, protecting the quality of life that they want to have, protecting their health and wellness. We're trying to hit all of these different facets of quality of life. And so yeah, it's hard to pin down exactly who should be listening, but I just kind of feel if you have someone that is approaching retirement, in retirement, or you are that person yourself, there's going to be content out here for you.
Well, and some people like your parents are younger when they experience the health difficulties, but then we have the people who are our super agers. They are the octogenarians and octogenarians of our world, and you could be someone who is retiring or immediately post-retirement, and in that what's called sandwich generation, where you are trying to figure things out for yourself, trying to create this retirement and live this, ideal situation and scenario that you've planned for, but you have parents who are older. So we're definitely going to have content that is relevant to those situations as well.
I also think that it's an inspiration, because when you are going through all this for your parents, it happened to me with this phone call yesterday, and I kind of go back because it's so fresh and so real. He said to me, "This is inspiring me to start my planning a lot earlier than I thought. I always thought, no, I'm only 45. Come on." It's been like a big aha moment. So again, I think it's so inspirational too, for those caretakers. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, all three of us are really passionate about serving this population, and we have our own personal experience with things that we've had happen in our own lives, but we see it time and time again with our clients, the things that we've taken notice of, and we want to help prevent those things from happening before one of our clients is in crisis. So the best way that we can do that is through this podcast, and hopefully reaching people this way, maybe not just in Central Florida, but wherever in the country and on this planet.
Alicia, there was something you've mentioned to us in the past when you talked about how, after what happened with, your mom and all, you realized also that you wish you would have had also resources and super vetted professionals that you trusted, because you realized that after you learned after the fact, you realize, oh my God, my mom wasn't really well served.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, a really challenging aspect of, my mom being a baby boomer. She did not want to talk about approaching the end of life, even when the writing was on the wall. She was just not a conversation she wanted to have at that juncture. I wish it was a conversation we had had while she was well, and she could make sound decisions and things like that. So I definitely want that to be a narrative of our podcast as well, about having these conversations while we are in good health. We want to have these conversations not when we're in crisis, but when we're in good health, of sound mind, of sound body, so that we can really address all the questions, comments, concerns about aging. I mean, I hate to use that word. It's hard to avoid when we're talking about this topic, but when with aging comes different health declines, but we want to ensure that we're giving all the information that we can from our experience and our experts' experience, to be able to prepare people for the things that they might not be thinking of right now, that they need to maybe consider to ensure they live the retirement they planned for.
No, I totally agree with you. And part of that is that vetting process, making
Absolutely.
sure that just like we have this love and this, protective approach,
Yes.
because we all do, something different in our industries, but really connecting with other community partners that can serve as great resources to them. That's
Absolutely.
also the purpose, of this podcast, because we don't know it all. We are serving the same population, and everybody specializes in something different. So that's also the purpose of the podcast, to bring content.
Absolutely. And I think you just hit the nail on the head, which is that we are not experts on everything, right? But we do sort of see our clients, and sometimes our clients come to us with everything, right? And what an honor that we are so trusted that our clients come to us with, hey, I need a painter. Did you know anyone? And sometimes it is so far outside our wheelhouse, but what we hope to do, exactly what you just said, Patty, is to bring in trusted resources, that these are people that we're putting our reputations on the line for. These are people that we know, have used, or experienced with, and we're excited to share those resources with our listeners. And, we know we're starting small in Central Florida. We know this is a state that's going to have a lot of our retirees moving forward. And, it's got 24-hour, 7 days a week, 350 days a year of sunshine. How could you not want to be here in your retirement? So I get it. So we hope to hit one of the hot spots for retirement for sure in our country, but to provide our listeners with those resources. Absolutely. I feel like we covered it. Anything else that you guys want to add?
I really think we covered pretty much every aspect and every person who could be benefiting from this. I think in essence, it's a moving.
Yeah.
It's evolving. It's going to evolve, and we are very happy to hear feedback. That's how we're going to continue growing in this project.
Absolutely. So what do you ladies say to the listener who says, oh, I'm too old for this? Like I'm too far into my retirement to benefit from what they have to say.
I don't know. I think that, even if you are 10, 15 years into retirement, there's still some benefit. I mean, I know, for example, my mother-in-law goes to all of these free, they're in their 80s. So my father-in-law is 85, my mother-in-law is 81, and they still go to these talks that talk about retirement planning and retirement preparation. And they've been retired for 20 years. So
that's
yeah,
awesome. So they can share. So people who are listening to these things, they can talk to their younger, fellow neighbors and
exactly,
share.
or their kids. My in-laws who are in their 80s now have kids that are turning 60. So yeah, absolutely. They go to those things. Who do you think they tell? They tell their kids who are planning for retirement in a few years. Oh, have you thought about this? They tell us stuff all the time, and we're still a good 15 years from retirement. So, or 20.
Absolutely. And I think if you are 80 and you're living at home, still living independently, dream scenario, and you still have time to make changes, do it. Like if you have time to do that renovation, call Julie, if you're not getting the right healthcare plan for you, call Patty. If you have too much clutter, call me. There's no reason. It's never too late. That's what I really feel. It's never too late to make change.
Well, and as I have said, my 92-year-old grandmother had Patty help her with her insurance and her medical.
Oh, good.
So
right.
For Patty, you definitely cannot age out for sure.
No, it's really funny. So my grandmother, she's amazing. She doesn't even think she's at that age. I'm ageless, okay?
Yeah.
And she loves these types of things because she feels like she's connected still to the world, and she still has a purpose, and she's up to date. She's sending me YouTube videos, you know what I mean? Oh, you're trying to find a dress? I'll help you. So this is almost like that lifeline for someone that's at that age to stay relevant and to stay on top of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I think too, Patty, you just jarred my memory on something, which is that I don't think that many people realize that they're being underserved, right? They just accept, oh, I only get to talk to my financial advisor once every 10 years. That's just how it is, right? They just accept, right? A certain level of treatment. If we get on here and we say, hey, this is the level of experience you're going to have with our Medicare expert, Patty. She's going to be a resource to you, an educator to you. And then they're like, what? I haven't talked to my health insurance person. And
we're setting up a standard. I really think we are.
So, that they deserve questions that they can be asking of their providers, questions that they can be asking of, if they don't live close to us, maybe they're in South Florida or something like that. But they're going to now have a list of questions that they ask someone because we've had that expert on that has talked to them about, a specific topic. So at the very least, we're providing them with a new standard for the level of care and customer service and just service in general that they should be expecting. I think this is such an underserved population. I know we can do better. I want to do better. I know we're passionate about serving this group, and together, I think we're going to really raise the level of service for this population. And we're going to demand it for our listeners. So it's going to be great. Sorry, that was on my little soapbox. Awesome. Any other quick tidbits? I know we're very good at keeping on going.
No, we're talkers. At least I am.
Definitely.
I'm trying to be good, okay? I'm trying to be a good person.
And we're slowly but surely, we're going to train Julie to interject. Yeah. We're going to just keep nudging her. Push her outside her comfort zone. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening and joining us today. We hope that we can just share as much as we can, educate and empower people to ask the tough questions, to have the information that they need to retire well. That is our goal, whatever that looks like for you. So we invite you to follow us on our YouTube channel, subscribe, our Facebook page, which is Retire Well. You can also follow us each individually with our business. I'm with Try Organizing, Patty's with Collocomotion, Julie's with Paradigm Interiors. And just let us know if there's a topic you want to hear about. I mean, we hope to be doing this for years and years. So we're going to have tons of topics. We're going to bring in lots of experts. And if there's something you want to hear more about, something you want to hear in greater detail, just let us know, because we're trying to keep these podcasts, in that 15-20 minute window. And we know it's going to be hard to cover an entire topic. So just let us know, communicate. We're here to serve you. So with all that being said, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye.
Bye.